Good. Glad to see everybody out there. Welcome to CA World 2015. My name is Stefan Kochishan. I'm Senior Director of Marketing for the Mainframe Business Unit. I want to extend a big welcome to all of you, especially all of the customers, our technology partners, and of course the staff. This is going to be a fantastic CA World this year. Very shortly, we're going to have the keynote opening. You're going to hear from three of our key business unit executives that talk about our commitment. They're going to talk about the innovative technology that we've been working on in the past year, and of course, our vision. You have a unique opportunity today and tomorrow to see all of the new innovations and the enhancements here at the demo pods. You'll see all of our staff that are in green shirts. These are our technical subject matter experts. Please ask them the questions. They would love to show you the demonstrations. We also have informative education sessions in the breakout rooms as well. So there's something for everybody at the CA World. Without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and kick everything off and wish you all a very good CA World 2015. Thank you.
Great. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Okay? Great. Thanks for joining us today at CA World. Got the thumbs up in the back. Thanks. My name is Adam Elster. I run all of field operations for CA, so I appreciate all of you joining us today for the mainframe session. This is obviously an area that's near and dear to our heart as a company. It's about a bit of the foundation of CA, but at the same time, we also believe it's the foundation to the future of CA as well. So what we want to do today is talk to you about the mainframe business for CA and what we think about the business and where we see it going. As you heard from the keynotes and many of the topics that you're going to be hearing about over the next several days at CA World, one of the biggest issues that we're facing in the technology industry is meeting all of the growing demands of the industry and the business to transform with the use of technology. Now, this is something that isn't new to all of us who've been in the technology industry. What is new is the speed and the pace and the expectations. But those expectations for anyone who's been in the mainframe world are something that we've been used to for many years because we understand what those demands are and we understand the need for things like scalability and reliability and security. And these are things, and as we've all been part of the mainframe business and the technology is the heart and the backbone of many of the organizations we support, those are things that we've relied on for many, many years. And whether you saw the example of Guzit in the opening keynote, or you see some of these smaller organizations and these new innovative companies, what is one of the biggest challenges they have? Scalability, reliability, security, things that we all know from a mainframe business are the cornerstone of the platform. So what does that mean for all of you? What does it mean for all of us? When you hear people talking in the industry and they talk about mobility, big data, cloud, when they talk about all of these topics, what inevitably comes to mind is the fact that all of us know that a large percentage of all the data that we're talking about in mobile, cloud, and big data is data that resides on the mainframe. And the ability to leverage that platform the right way to provide the value to grow the business is the key to the platform. I know I was talking with one of our mainframe customers and we were talking about the growth of their platform, and they happen to be a large financial institution, one that I happen to bank with, and he was talking about what he expected his MIPS to grow, and I was secretly having my mobile phone, and I was just kind of hitting refresh on my balance, maybe do a few transactions, because I figured I was just going to rack up the MIPS processing when it was sitting here. We quickly got into a conversation, and this is a real live story. I won't call you out because you're actually sitting in the room. And he said, hey, can we come up with something called mobile MIPS? And I said, what the hell is a mobile MIP? He's like, you don't understand. every line of business, every business unit, and every meeting I go to, they talk about these innovative projects, these new applications to drive the business and transform the relationship they have with the customers. But at the end of the day, for him, it meant there was going to be new applications being written against businesses and all kinds of data that he was residing on his mainframe as the backbone. And it was a real testament to the fact that they knew they needed to leverage what we had in the mainframe for him to drive that value into the future for all the customers. So that's what we're seeing across the board. So when people say mobile and mobile computing, we understand the connection it has to the mainframe. When they talk about big data, much of that big data is residing on the mainframe. So as we move forward with CA and we think about the mainframe, the way we like to talk about it is really what we talk about is the mainframe reframed. And what we want to be able to do is change the way we all talk about the platform. And we start talking about it more as a strategic asset. For too long, it's been a platform where people have talked about how do I save costs, how can I take the costs out of this platform so I can drive innovation. And we believe that with your partnership and the innovation and some of the ideas we're thinking about the mainframe, this is an opportunity for all of us to lean into the future and to help leverage the mainframe as we know it, that power to drive innovation, so it's not something we talk about where is the cost saving, but more along the lines of where is the value and how do we help drive the value into the new platforms and the new technology by leveraging a strategic asset that's inside of all of our organizations with some very core principled foundational elements about scalability, reliability, and security. And for all of you know, for any application or new business that's growing, those are three things that are hard to achieve, but in the mainframe platform, something we've been achieved years and years ago, and something we think is going to be strategic moving forward. So that's the way we think about the platform, and that's the way we're reframing the conversation about the mainframe, the platform, and the value proposition in the overall marketplace. So what I'd like to do now is bring up David Hodgson with our mainframe BU. He's going to talk about our strategy around the platform and where we're going to take it forward. So please join me in welcoming David Hodgson.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, and I'll welcome you myself. It's good to be here at CA World together again. And as Adam said, it's all about driving revenue and future growth. And in the application economy, that means focusing on the customer and the customer experience that drives your business and your business growth. So the core question we asked ourselves as we put our strategy together is how can we help you deliver a flawless experience for the customer every time? And that's what we mean by Mainframe Reframed. It's seeing the mainframe as central to the delivery of the customer experiences that actually drive your business and actually would drive that growth. You need to see it differently. It's changing the way we see the mainframe as an asset. And the mainframe, it's central to the application economy. All those PayPal transactions, they don't happen without a mainframe. Everything that's bought or sold on the internet ends up in at least one transaction back on a bank, probably two, maybe more, before any payment is settled. So the mainframe is central to the application economy. Some of our large customers do trillions of transactions a year across their applications and systems. So when you think of the mainframe as part of your systems, whatever volume of transactions you do, when you're thinking about what are you going to do with your customer experiences to grow your revenue, when you're thinking about how you're going to become a DevOps-based company, an agile company, when you're streamlining your processes, think about how you can leverage the mainframe. Don't leave the mainframe out of those processes. That's what our Mainframe Reframe strategy is about. It's about enabling you to operate in a way that's going to be able to help you focus on the customer. So as you focus on the customer, there's probably 4 good questions you could ask yourself, 4 areas of questions anyway. Think about how your customers get to your data center where your mainframe is. What applications are they using? And when they use those applications, what data are they pulling down? And how are you securing that data? And what are all the the hops that they had to go through, and how did that impact the infrastructure as they used it? And how would you manage those hops in a way that gave you continuous operations and truly agile operations? So that's what I want to talk to you about today. Not just, we've got lots of innovations, but it's not just innovations for innovation's sake. It's innovation that's practical, that's going to help you deliver on these things. And as you think about these areas and the innovations that you might do, that we might do, it's about delivering applications that really are mobile to mainframe, that connect your customers to the mainframe. It's about unleashing the power of data on the mainframe to be used inside those applications and how you're going to secure it. And it's about how the infrastructure you build around that, making it flexible so you're not locked in, so that you can change your mind, so that you can scale these things, so you can change it. And as you begin to think about mainframe management in this way, in starting with a customer and breaking it down in these steps, you get closer to the customer, you get closer to value, and you get closer to revenue. All of you, I'm assuming, most of you anyway, have mainframes. They're the back end to your business processing, have been for years, and they're what we think of as systems of record. That's where your main data is. And of course, you have systems of engagement too. Some of those systems of engagement, some of those applications will be on the mainframe, but most likely they're on other platforms. Most likely they're distributed, or they're cloud, or they're mobile. The thing is, in this economy where the customer experience is so important, you can't manage those as two separate things. I think we saw that this morning in the keynote if you were there with Guzit. It would have been a very different story, wouldn't it, if Guzit were using a mainframe as their back end. It wouldn't have even have gone down, right? So the days of isolated mainframe management are completely gone. It needs to be across these two areas. And we've known that for a while. We delivered cross-enterprise APM a couple of years ago. Many of you use that. A very important cross-enterprise, cross-system tool. But we're focused in our strategy on getting groups to work together, enabling you to deliver these customer experiences. So let's just take a look in these areas, applications, data, security, infrastructure, about what our directions are and what we're delivering. First of all, let's focus on applications. We just hear at every customer we go to the word DevOps and the push towards agile operations, continuous delivery. We hear that all the time. In fact, when we talk to our Gen and Endeavor customers, 76% of them said that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get into continuous delivery around these mobile to mainframe applications that they're putting out there. So let's just think about mobile to mainframe applications and what a mobile app does in terms of the mainframe. Let's use the example, it's an easy example we can all relate to, banks. There's 50 million customers of banking customers using mobile applications now. I'm sure you have one on your phone. What do you do with that thing? You take out your phone, you check your bank balance, maybe you move some money around, maybe maybe you make a payment. You basically are doing work that's really, it's a great experience. It's all about the experience, right? How much of that cheap mobile workload, which generates expensive mainframe workload, because it's all hitting back to the mainframe, how much of that is driving new business for the bank? Zero. So you got this cheap mobile app, cheap activity. It was cheap for everybody. It was free to you, cheap to develop probably, generating masses of new workload on the mainframe, consuming MIPS expensively. And why would we do that? Because it's all about the customer experience. If the banks don't do that, they lose their customers to the other bank that's doing it. So that's why you do it. Incredibly important. When we did a survey to see how they would be managing this, because if it's mobile to mainframe, how are you managing it? 80% of organizations told us that in this sort of world, to avoid the problems that you get, you need joined up operations. The number one problem our customers tell us is they roll out something like a mobile app or a new distributed app, and 2 weeks later they see a spike in CPU or a slowdown in performance. Hard to correlate it if you haven't rolled it out and tested it. Hard to do that if you don't have joined up operations. 80% see that as a problem. 51% are actually doing it. They joined their operations teams at a low level like director or VP. I think on the whole, operations get it. Whether or not you've managed to organize yourself most effectively, operations get it. But do your developers get it? Do your architects get it? Do the testers get it? Does everybody understand the implications of mobile to mainframe and what that can mean? The tools are there, the standards are there. Putting out REST APIs, you want to expose those back-end functions through REST APIs to make it easy for the mobile developers to do that. So we have a new product that we're announcing here at CA World called App Services Orchestrator that allows you to do just that. It allows your back-end people to expose the functions of your business applications as web services and allow the easy orchestration of those into REST APIs that now your mobile developers can consume. Really important breakthrough. Check it out on the floor. We're also, for Datacom and IDMS, a lot of people still use those databases, and we're web service enabling those. You can use them then with ASO, as we call it, App Services Orchestrator, to make those available in mobile apps. And look, just the amount of COBOL code that's out there, and it's valuable code to your mission-critical systems, it's not going anywhere. So you're going to be developing across groups like we're talking about. The solution ALC, Application Lifecycle Conductor, enables the groups to work together in every step, every process step, from the service ticket to the rollout. It allows you to integrate third-party products across the organization, distributed mainframe, so that you can tie everything together, your processes and your people, and make sure that everything is tested together. You'll never miss a mainframe testing when you roll out a mobile app again. A healthcare organization did this, and it so streamlined their operations and their rollout of their applications. They went from rolling out iterations in months and weeks to literally days. Really important. If apps are the most important sort of rock star piece of the application economy, data is the fuel or the gold or the oil behind the thing. Data's where it's really at. An app, all apps that do anything of any consequence are using data. And we know that 71% of your business data, the data you use today, is probably still on the mainframe. That's the industry average. Probably for most of your companies, it's right up there. And we're just talking about business data now, the stuff you really use. In fact, you've been using this for years. You've been using it for business intelligence reports, very much in a batch-oriented way, probably. Even if you're doing it quickly on a daily basis, you're downloading that data from the mainframe, you're generating the BI reports, and you're distributing them. The question as we move into the application economy, whether it's around the apps that are just continually consuming data and using them in new ways for new experiences, or whether it's analytics for analytics' sake, or analytics behind the apps, it's moving to this new, it's moving away from BI reports to new big data analytics. And are you ready to do that? There's a lot of barriers. The data is not in expected formats of the mobile developers. There's a sort of an opacity about the data layouts. There's batch windows. Can they get at that data? And frankly, your Datacom, your IDMS, even your DB2, DBAs are probably strapped. You've probably pared them down. You've got not enough DBAs to do all the work. So what are the solutions that CA's got that can help you? First of all, very practical one. We're coming out with managed services offerings called M3A. Stands for Monitor, Measure, Manage, Alert. We'll be doing this for most of our mainframe products. We've rolled it out so far for Datacom and IDMS. And these deliver sort of standard services that a DBA would do to keep the database running. That would free up your DBA, who really knows your business, to be working on these new projects around the mobile apps, working with the other teams, the distributed teams. Probably everybody who has a mainframe has DB2. When you start putting out mobile apps and new customer experiences, one of the things that can happen is that you get a slow degradation. You don't see that spike. You don't get that immediate problem. You get a slow degradation. Those can be the hardest problems to resolve. So we've got a new innovative solution. You can see here, it's available now at CA World, called Analytics for DB2. This is taking performance data out of the system and doing trend analytics to help you see those hard to spot problems. You can solve them proactively before they become a crisis. Then what about getting that data off the mainframe? How do you do that anyway? And how do you do that in near real time for the sort of experiences that people want out of their applications? We've partnered with a company called Veristorm to deliver vStorm Data Connect. And this will pull data from almost anywhere on the mainframe. DB2, Datacom, IDMS, any vSAM file, any log file. And the difference between what you're doing today in your batch BI reports and what you can do with vStorm Data Connect is that this is continuous data streaming. What do I mean by that? It pulls the data from the source, it transfers it, it does any transform, like basic things, EBCDIC to ASCII, and also sort of any data transformations to get it into the right format, and then it injects it straight into the Hadoop file system. So in near real time, that data goes from there to the analytics, and the Hadoop system can be continuously doing its analysis as it receives more data. That's data streaming, really important in the application economy. And lastly, moving data off the mainframe, pretty frightening to old timers like me, probably frightening to you too. How do we secure that data? There's a lot of problems there for us still to solve, but we're starting to solve it with Big Data Control Center. Big Data Control Center brings enterprise-grade lockdown and control to all those Hadoop systems, Cassandra systems, all those big data analytics. Haven't got time to tell you all about it. Check it out in the hall here. A lot of things. Just look at all these solutions while you're here. Data is central to what you're going to be doing. A big area of investment for us is security. As I go around and talk to customers, everybody is freshly aware of security problems. I mean, we just hear about new hacks all the time. And is your mainframe secure? We've always assumed the mainframe's secure. And certainly in the SNA days, of course it was secure. The network was locked down. How could you hack an NCP? But now we're TCP/IP connected. And a friend of mine, Philip Young, consultant, security expert, he goes under the name of Soldier of Fortran. So Google that and check him out. He has a website, and he publishes on the website all of the internet-facing login screens. Some of you are actually connecting your login screens for different applications actually on the internet. He's discovering them. So that's an access point that people could try and hack. But even if you're not doing that, and I don't know whether that's a good idea or a bad idea, but even if you're not doing that, once people have got through the perimeter of your network and they're inside your network, then your mainframe is potentially exposed. And now there's so much open source code running on the mainframe, Java code running on the mainframe. All those hacks that people do on Intel boxes are potential weaknesses on the mainframe. You might not believe this. Start talking to people who really know this. You probably go back to your company, find out the level of penetration testing being done on the mainframe. It's not there. We don't have those skills on the mainframe. We need to change the way we're thinking as we use the mainframe differently. So what can you do to prepare? You've got to be prepared. The first thing you can do to be prepared is know where the data is, know who can access it, and know how valuable it is to you. And maybe you see valuable in terms of risk, and risk, define risk maybe in terms of some of the government regulations. So let's just focus on data that's maybe PII, personal information, PCI, or HIPAA. Those would be the sort of data you might be most worried about people getting hold of. And by the way, that's the data the hackers go after. We're announcing a new product here at CA World called CA Data Content Discovery. This product crawls through data on your mainframe, and it finds it and classifies it as PII, PCI, HIPAA. And if you can put in other masks to find data you want. It will find the data you want, it will categorize it, it'll tell you what you've got, where it is. More importantly, it does this all on the mainframe. It's the only solution that will do that. And it will tell you who has access to that data And looking back into RACF, ACF2, top secret, it will tell you why and how they have access. So it enables you to clean up your act, know where your data is, and strip down that access if you need to. Your auditors will smile at you, because for the first time you can really explain to them where the data is and how you would know if somebody was getting at it. The other thing we're doing, that thing I talked about, people getting through the perimeter, all of you have got tough security perimeters. You might be using multi-factor authentication to lock down your network. Well, people I'm talking to are getting worried, well, if they get through that, I need something tougher on the mainframe. I don't just need an 8-character user ID. I need multi-factor authentication on the mainframe. So we're prototyping solutions around multi-factor authentication. You can talk to our folks at the Smart Bar there and get involved, review what we're doing, help us define that so it really meets your needs. You will need these solutions. Believe me, the hackers are coming for your data. So beyond security, what keeps you up at night? The number one questions that people seem to have is, well, look, I've been in the mainframe all my life. How do I justify the cost of the mainframe? How do I reduce the cost of the mainframe? How do I talk about the value of the mainframe to my business? That's what people want. That's what people are struggling with. And we're pretty good on the cost equation. We know how to reduce our costs, and certainly CA can help you do that. What about the value? Well, 48% of you are already doing this, it turns out. 48% of people with mainframes are delivering new business services like we're talking about, mobile to mainframe connections, delivering new customer experiences. You're already doing this. You're doing it, and you're starting to see the mainframe as an asset. So if you're not doing it yet, find somebody, network with somebody here who is doing it. One of the big things you're going to overcome as you do that is managing that infrastructure, keeping that infrastructure flexible for the future. You're going to need a flexible workforce too. And again, in that survey, remember 80% of the people said they wanted a joined up workforce that was managing things together, but only 51% were doing it, so 29% are not. Don't leave yourself in that 29%. I've got a solution for you to help you. It's called UIM for Z. So you might know about NIMsoft, or UIM as we call it. It's a market-leading solution for managing your infrastructure across systems in the distributed world. Now at CA World, we're announcing UIM for Z that extends the UIM solution to manage Linux on the mainframe, ZOS storage, ZOS performance. So it truly gives you that end-to-end. You can get your team working across the infrastructure, giving you that flexible workforce to manage your infrastructure in a flexible way. The wave of the future to really manage the infrastructure and the level of complexity that comes from mainframe to mobile applications is really IT operational analytics, ITOA. And I gave you one example of that already, actually, and the analytics for DB2. That's the sort of smarts you need to see that slow degradation, those changes in your infrastructure, in that case, DB2. Another product that we've got, and it's been out for a little while, I'd encourage you to look at it again if you're not using it, is iDash. iDash has analytics inside it to allow you to see proactively changes in your workflows. It could be mainframe, it could be distributed, it could be mobile to mainframe. Allows you to see what is happening there and predict where it's going to fail. It will find the critical path and it'll tell you before it's happened what your options are to make sure you meet the SLAs. A company that used that got 252% ROI inside a year just by not making SLA penalties. They delivered on their SLAs and didn't have to pay the penalties. This is a big area for us, operational analytics. And again, back at our Smart Bar, we've got some people who would love to work with you in the area of performance analytics and security analytics. You're going to be seeing new innovations in this area for us, but we'd really like to get it right. So connect with our experts and get involved. Teach us how we can help you with the flexibility and managing the infrastructure into the future. Last thing we're doing, I just want to say about Linux on the mainframe. There's some new innovations there that IBM have brought out. Changing the hypervisors, you can now run Linux on KVM. And CA is a platinum sponsor of the Open Mainframe project. run by the Linux Foundation, and we're working with you and the Linux community to try and bring out the solutions you will need as you'll try and bring some of those Linux solutions onto the mainframe. So a lot of innovation, a lot of investment on the mainframe. Thanks for letting me sharing it. I think that what we're going to do now is just change pace slightly. We're going to focus on the customer, and I'm going to invite Seth Miller from AIG to come up and chat with me a little bit. Come on board, Seth. Hey, Seth.
Hello, how are you?
All right.
Good.
So AIG is a massive customer. 90 billion customers, 515 billion in assets, and 98% of the Fortune 5,000. What's your role in this? I mean, it's an incredible company.
So I've been at AIG for 25 years, and I've managed a number of different areas there, CICS and MQ and storage. But for the past 15 years, I've been heavily involved in mainframe capacity planning, performance automation, and application testing.
And in the time you've been there, how have you seen the mainframe get involved? You know, how's it evolved at AIG?
Well, the first decade I was there, we did a lot of consolidation. So we consolidated 7 remote mainframe sites into one.
Wow.
And we've since built on that. So one of the things we do as part is bringing sites in, and we standardize them. So we would adopt standard software, SysView, Ops MVS, those sort of things, so that our systems, maybe the applications are all different, but they have a common look and feel from the support staff.
Okay.
So that everybody can log onto any system and really feel like they're all the same. So that's really helped us over the years.
What's the real business value of that, though? What's the value of that to AIG?
Well, for us, it lets us scale very well without having to have a lot of people. We've been able to grow dramatically to dozens of LPARs and not really have to grow staff that much, because everything is basically mirrored to each other, and if you know one system, you can work on any of them, which is a big help for us.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are you working on currently?
Right now we're working on several different things. We have new applications that are coming onto the Z platform. They're actually some being transferred from Solaris for cost and performance. And we're looking at that. We're looking at some new ZOS development going on now. And we're also getting involved with we're launching a Z-Linux internal cloud in next year.
Wow.
And we are also moving towards working with you on the IT analytics software.
That's great. Well, that's amazing. It's good to hear a real live customer talking about doing these things, and we'd love to partner with you into the future. Thanks for sharing us briefly about that.
Well, good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'd like to invite a special guest up onto the stage, the new GM of Mainframe, Ashok Reddy. Hi, Ashok.
Thank you, David.
So, Ashok, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yes, so this is my second week here at CA. I came from IBM. I was actually with IBM for the last 12 years. I managed several things related to mainframe. In fact, I started programming mainframe in my college as a grad student, and I managed the compilers business, COBOL, PL1, and C++. Recently, we also worked with the MQ team and some of the teams in Hershey, which kind of makes the most of the core mainframe products.
So you've had a good career already. So I've got to ask you, why mainframe now and why CA?
Well, actually, it's a great time to be in the mainframe business. There is actually in the back of it here, there is the new system Z13. It's actually the world's fastest commercial computer, and it can handle 10 terabytes of memory. And one of the things, if you look at Google today, on average day, the number of searches Google does is about 3.5 billion. A single mainframe, a Z13, can handle 2.5 billion transactions a day.
That's amazing.
I mean, it's just amazing because you can handle 100 Cyber Mondays every day of the year with one mainframe, right? So to me, that combined with what we are talking about here in terms of mainframe reframed, it's truly a strategic asset. I mean, people talk about all this mobile and other things, but to me, mainframe is the foundation, like Adam said, in terms of what you want to be, in terms of how the digital economy and the app economy.
So you're going to be my new boss. So what I'm most worried about, what's your vision for us?
I think the number one thing is, we have a lot of great customers, so we definitely want to focus on what are the customers and all of your needs, what are your experience you're looking at, how can we make it easier for you to adopt our solutions. And I think also we are adopting Agile, internally here, and we are driving a lot of that innovation. So we talked about a little bit of some of the new innovations. So you can see a rapid increase in terms of some of the new innovations we are going to do. not only in the main Z, but also in the Linux context. And I personally believe, I think the mainframe is the best cloud platform in terms of whether you want to manage internally as a service or externally. So I think you will see a lot more innovation coming out, and we are going to be increasingly getting your feedback to do that.
So I know this is only week 2 for you, and we're sort of introducing you here, but how would you like to connect with the customers a little bit more, and what do you want to hear from them?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I think first of all, I will say that we actually believe in having a complete feedback loop with all of you. In order to really adopt DevOps, DevOps is about not just shipping software to you, but unless you use and you give us feedback, and we continuously deliver back to you, right? So what I would say is, as you are spending time here, make sure that you give us your candid feedback in terms of what's working, what's not, what are the type of things you're trying to achieve, what outcomes you're trying to achieve. If you're not doing that, call us out, and we want to make sure that we can address that. And basically, as we adopt the Agile principles, it's all about your feedback, and that's what shapes our roadmap.
Well, that's great. We're going to be a good team.
Yes, absolutely thrilled to be here.
Thanks for introducing yourself. So now I'd like to, we want to focus on the customers a little bit more, and I'd like to invite Adam to come back up and do some VIP awards.
You're going to read them off, right?
Yeah, no, they just come.
Okay.
Actually, I need
You
the
need
clicker.
this. How are you?
Good.
Good job.
Thank you. Great job.
You talk to this. You talk.
All right, so now what we want to do is focus back on all of you. And right now we have a few awards that we're going to hand out to a few of those who've worked with us tirelessly over the last year and recognize some of the outstanding work that you have done in partnership with CA Technology. So Dave, if you would.
The Vision Award for success in developing and demonstrating a clear vision for managing the overall success of an enterprise. Please congratulate Morgan Stanley's Andrea Manfredonia, Executive Director.
Congratulations. Great. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
The Impact Award for results created by improved management, especially in terms of productivity, financial benefits, quality improvements, and customer satisfaction. Please congratulate Caixa's Sergio Medeiros.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Oh, wait.
The Progress Award for implementation success or
you.
process improvements. Initiatives in this category, even if not complete, demonstrate excellent planning or communications and project success.
Congratulations.
Please congratulate Lloyd's Banking Group, Derek Percival.
Great. Thank you very much. So congratulations to all of our winners. At the end of the day, this is what's really important. What's really important to us is ensuring that as strategic partners, that we can help you achieve the goals that you look to achieve to drive your business forwards. So I appreciate all the work with all of our winners. It's really, it's proud for us to be able to recognize you because it's really about that partnership. And the end of the day, to the extent that we work together, we believe we can learn a lot from you about how you utilize the technology and how we should think about it moving forward. So at the end of the day, as you leave here today and you spend time in the booth at the conference, we really want you to reinforce this idea of the Mainframe Reframed, thinking about it as a strategic asset moving forward. At the end of the day, in the keynote, we talked about the reality of technology. And there's certain things about the technology industry that are undeniable. One, that it's going to change. And number two, that it's going to change way faster than we thought it was going to change. And at the end of the day, you need to make a choice, and we'd like to make that choice with all of you, is that we lean into that change, and we leverage what we have, and we make the mainframe as strategic as we all know it can be as we move forward. So as you leave here, we want to just leave you with a promise, is that we look to build these long-term strategic relationships. For many of you, we didn't have relationships that started yesterday. We've had long-term relationships. We continue to want to invest in those relationships as we move forward. At the same time, we want to work with you to deliver the innovation that each one of your businesses needs to drive that business forward and to continue to be strategic. And last, and certainly but not least, because this is something that's the core to who we need to believe in as a company, is that we are committed to your success. Because at the end of the day, if you're successful, we believe that positive things will happen in our business as well. And if we partner together, we believe that this is a platform that's going to be a long time, will be around for a long time to come and continue to be strategic. And we'll be here for years to come talking about all the new and innovative solutions. So as you spend time today, spend time with our teams. You'll understand where we're headed with some of the new technology. As David said, you'll see some of the new innovations that we're bringing into market, and we need to hear from you. Give us your feedback, tell us your ideas, because it's that it's that interaction that will make us agile enough to find the innovation to really drive the value. So appreciate you joining us with CA World. We're going to reframe the mainframe and make sure we're strategic moving forward. So thanks again and enjoy the rest of the show.